I've got two interesting stories to share with you in this video, starting with a big one from the crypto basic. Ripple has launched a 700 million share buyback at 175 million per share. Pretty impressive, right? Now, let me just say this up front. Ripple wouldn't be making a move like this unless they were absolutely confident in XRP, which is at the heart of their business model. I'll break down the details for you, but first, let me ask, do you remember a few years back, maybe 2 or 3, when Brad Garlinghouse mentioned Ripple had $1 billion in cash sitting on their balance sheet? Yep, just straight up cash. Well, that number has changed a bit since then, and I'll get into that too. You want to take a guess at what it is? Go ahead, take a moment to think about whether it's higher or lower and by how much. I'll reveal the actual number in just a bit. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Oh, and here's something else. After meeting with one of the world's top 5 banks, yes, one of the largest banks on the planet, the Blockworks founder shared that Solana and XRP could be next in line for spot ETFs. How cool is that? One of the biggest banks out there is recognizing the staying power of XRP. Wow, can you believe it? If you're listening to this, it's like you hit the jackpot by choosing XRP. It's getting more obvious by the day. Seriously, this feels like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A decade from now, people are going to look back and wish they knew what we know right now. But here we are in the moment, fully aware of how incredible this is. Personally, I see it as one of the greatest financial blessings I've ever come across. That said, I want to be upfront. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and I'm not telling anyone to buy or sell based on what I say. Always do your research and make decisions that feel right for you. All right, let's dive into this exciting news. Ripple just made a big move. They've announced a 700 million tender offer to buy back shares from shareholders at a whopping $175 per share. Investor Jeremy Raper shared the scoop on X, including an email he received from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse about the offer. Pretty wild, right? According to the email, this offer showcases Ripple's strong financial position and big growth plans. The tender offer opened on Tuesday, June 10th, and will close on Wednesday, July 9th. It's available to holders of eligible vested stock options or shares, and is being handled through the NASDAQ private market. Oh, and here's the kicker. The $175 per share offer is a 135% premium compared to Ripple's recent secondary market pricing. Shares were last trading around $74, $75 on platforms like Hive. Let's take a moment to talk about this. Ripple is offering to buy back its stock at a premium, which says a lot about their confidence in its future value. They clearly believe that based on their growth and all the success they've had, especially recently, it's going to be worth much more down the road. And here's the exciting part. XRP is right at the center of it all. Think about it. If Ripple didn't believe in XRP's bright future or its potential to grow in value, they wouldn't be paying such a high premium for their stock. Sure, Ripple's business model is diversifying, but it still heavily relies on the success and long-term potential of XRP. It's such an obvious move when you look at the bigger picture. Honestly, it's kind of amazing to see this all play out. Check this out. Ripple is showing some serious confidence in its growth. The company just increased the price and size of its stock buyback compared to its previous offer in January, which was priced at $125 per share. That's a big move. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Internal communications revealed that Ripple has 3.7 billion in cash on hand. Yep, you read that right. 3.7 billion. That's about 4 times the amount CEO Brad Garlinghouse mentioned a few years ago. Even more impressive, Ripple carries no debt and holds 41 billion XRP on its balance sheet. In short, Ripple's financials are looking incredibly strong right now. Ripple's XRP holdings are worth about 94.6 billion at market value, or 47 billion if you apply a 50% discount. Now, I'm not saying 50% is the perfect discount rate, but let's be real. You've got to discount it. Why? Because if you're trying to figure out Ripple's true value as a company, you can't just take the full notional value of their XRP holdings at face value. Here's the deal. Even if Ripple decided to dump all their XRP as fast as possible, which they couldn't realistically do because the XRP is released from escrow at a rate of $1 billion per month, it would tank the price. Market participants know this. On paper, the XRP might be worth that 94.6 billion, but selling it all at once, they'd never get that much. That's why you have to apply a discount to get a clearer picture of what those holdings are actually worth today. I'm not sure what the exact percentage is, but I'd guess it might involve a bigger discount than that. Honestly, the smart move is exactly what they're doing, planning to sell XRP gradually over decades. This way, they'll eventually hold almost none, but it won't disrupt the market. Plus, they're likely to gain more value in the long run, especially as XRP becomes more valuable over time. It's fascinating to think about all the factors they have to consider when making these decisions. Oh, and here's an interesting tidbit. Ripple still has 36.2 billion SRP locked away in escrow, with the rest available for spending. Ripple is making waves with its strong financial standing. They've got 600 million in other investments and reportedly brought in over 1 billion in EBIT, earnings before interest and taxes, last year. That's some solid operational profitability. With 141 million shares outstanding, even with conservative estimates, their balance sheet alone could support a share price above $350. At $175 per share, Ripple's valuation sits around $25 billion. Sure, that's a premium, but it shows confidence in their future. If Ripple ever decides to go public, and they might at some point, though probably not soon, it could be big. But here's the thing. They're swimming in cash. So what's the rush? CEO Brad Garlinghouse has even said publicly that going public is about raising more capital. And right now, Ripple doesn't have that problem. They're already in a great position to keep growing without the extra funding. I still think it's going to happen at some point. If you're smart about it, you can always find ways to do more with more money. And the team over there is definitely full of smart people. So yeah, I believe it'll happen. And even if $175 seems like a premium now, imagine if Ripple's worth over $1,000 in the future, or even way more than that. It's not unrealistic. Ripple has made huge waves in the crypto world, and honestly, barely any money has flowed into crypto yet compared to what we could see in the next 10 or 20 years. Looking back, this could turn out to be a pretty brilliant move. And in the end, it'll be interesting to see how many people actually take them up on this. I'm sure some will, but honestly, I think a lot of investors are aiming even bigger. Sure, it's a nice premium and a chance to pocket some profit, but I'd bet many of them see the bigger picture and are willing to wait it out. Who knows though? It'll definitely be intriguing to watch. I'm not sure if we'll ever find out the final numbers unless they leak, but it's still fun to speculate. Here's an interesting post from Sean McBride, a former Ripple employee. He shared some pretty fascinating thoughts. Ripple's new tender offer values the company at a whopping $30 billion. If Ripple were to go public, which they're not, at least for now, it could potentially be the largest IPO in history. Unreal, right? Imagine what that would look like someday, especially with XRP at the center of it all. That would truly be something to watch. Speaking of XRP, here's another exciting update. Jason Janowitz, co-founder of Blockworks Group, recently mentioned insights from a meeting with a top 5 bank. According to him, Solana and XRP might just be next in line for spot ETFs alongside Bitcoin. Janowitz shared an exciting update after meeting with a top 5 bank to talk about cryptocurrencies. According to him, the bank broke the crypto market into 2 groups, the top 4 and, well, everything else. And guess what? XRP is part of that top 4, the chosen few, the obvious winners. That's how they're seeing it now. XRP has made it into the in crowd, and that's huge. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. XRP has already won. The foundation is solid, and now we're just waiting to see how much bigger and better things are going to get. Adoption is clearly moving in the right direction, and it's not just steady, it's picking up speed. With regulatory clarity finally on the horizon in the US and a more level playing field, the momentum is undeniable. Just look at everything that's happened recently. It's incredible. The future for XRP is brighter than ever, and it's only getting better. Here's the post from Yano. He mentioned meeting with a top 5 bank recently, and they categorized tokens into 2 groups, the top 4 and then everything else. The top 4 they referenced are Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and XRP. According to Yano, it looks like a Solana ETF could be coming in the next few months, and he guesses that XRP might be the next one after that. He added, "Don't shoot the messenger," likely because XRP tends to spark strong reactions from some people. It's true. There's definitely some XRP skepticism out there, but honestly, who cares? The toxic Bitcoin maximalists can have their opinions, but at the end of the day, the progress being made speaks for itself. The momentum is real, and we're moving forward. So who are the top 5 banks? I got curious and Googled it. I literally typed in, what are the top 5 banks? And here's what popped up in the AI overview from Google. JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and US Bank. Together, they manage trillions of dollars in assets. Yep, the big four are all there. And guess what? XRP is in the mix too. If you're ever wondering, did I make a smart decision? Well, one of these massive banks clearly think so. Just look at how they're positioning it. I'd say the answer is a big yes. Honestly, it feels like such a privilege to know about XRP at this moment in history. It won't always be like this, One day, everyone's going to get it. Crypto will be a mature asset class. At that point, you won't see those massive gains anymore. Kind of like with precious metals like gold and silver. Sure, there'll still be some volatility, but nothing like what we're experiencing right now. Right now, we're in the golden age of crypto, and honestly, we're so lucky to be part of it. Just a quick reminder though, I'm not a financial advisor, and you definitely shouldn't make any financial decisions based solely on what I say. That wouldn't be the smartest move, okay? Just enjoy the ride and stay informed.